Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. Your charity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. Mark 1:21-28. 21. And they went into Capernaum, and straightway on the Sabbath day he entered into the synagogue and taught. Mark 1:21, KJV. Notice the setting: Sabbath in synagogue, Israel's covenant space and covenant day. Yahweh Shai is teaching inside Israel's assemblies, showing his mission is directed to the covenant people, correcting and restoring Israel's understanding as part of the kingdom being at hand. 22. And they were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one that had authority, and not as the scribes. Mark 1:22, KJV. His authority isn't man-made rank. It is covenant authority from Yahweh. Israel had leaders, scribes, skilled in repetition, but Yahweh Shai speaks as the one fulfilling the promises, teaching with the weight of Yahweh's intent for Israel's restoration, not empty tradition. 23. And there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit, and he cried out. Mark 1:23, KJV. An unclean spirit inside the synagogue shows Israel's condition. Even within religious structures, captivity of the mind and spirit exists. The remnant learns that returning to buildings and customs alone is not enough. Israel must be cleansed inwardly as the kingdom approaches. 24. Saying, Let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God. Mark 1:24, KJV. The Spirit recognizes Yahweh Shai's identity and fears destruction, because Yahweh Shai came to reclaim Israel from bondage, spiritual and national. The question, Art thou come to destroy us, shows that when Yahweh moves to restore Israel, unclean powers that thrive on Israel's disorder know their time is limited. 25. And Jesus rebuked him, saying, Hold thy peace, and come out of him. Mark 1:25, KJV. Yahweh Shai commands, not negotiates. This demonstrates kingdom authority. The deliverer has power to cleanse Israelites and restore them to soundness, preparing a people fit for covenant inheritance and obedience. 26. And when the unclean spirit had torn him, and cried with a loud voice, he came out of him. Mark 1:26, KJV. Deliverance can be violent because bondage resists release. This teaches the remnant that Israel's freedom, whether from sin, deception, or spiritual captivity, often comes with struggle. But Yahweh's command prevails, and the unclean must depart. 27. And they were all amazed, insomuch that they questioned among themselves, saying, What thing is this? What new doctrine is this? For with authority commandeth he even the unclean spirits, and they do obey him. Mark 1:27, KJV. They call it new doctrine, but it's the true power of Yahweh returning to Israel. The authority over unclean spirits is a sign that Yahweh is visiting his people, beginning the cleansing that leads to national restoration, covenant renewal, and preparation for the kingdom. 28. And immediately his fame spread abroad throughout all the region round about Galilee. Mark 1:28, KJV. The fame spreads through Galilee, Israelite regions, because the signs are directed to Israel, awakening the people to the reality that Yahweh is moving. This is how the remnant begins to gather. Israel hears, witnesses power, and is drawn toward the one sent to restore the covenant nation. Table of Contents. Introduction. Yahweh's exclusive covenant with Israel. The purpose of this book. No disparagement of non-Israelite races. The foundations used throughout this book. On the right foundation, Israel's covenant exclusivity, believing Yahweh Shai and the consequences of unbelief. The exclusive nature of Israel in the Old Testament. The exclusive nature of Israel in the New Testament. Part 2. Replacement Theology. Examined. Dare we say the Church has replaced the 12 tribes of Israel, hope, the law, and Israel in the New Testament, the exclusivity of Israel in Ephesians, Philippians, and beyond, redemption and the many, the exclusive nature of Israel in the letters of James, Peter, John, and Jude, Israel in the book of Revelation, reactions and doctrinal challenges. Next steps in the book, common reactions to Israel's exclusivity, reactions to the exclusive doctrine of Israel expanded. Are there 2 or 3 witnesses for exclusive Israel? Separation, the world, and the gospel. Word meanings, understanding separation and the world. The world, cosmos, or oikoumeni. The 2 differing gospels, stumbling blocks to an exclusive Israel doctrine. Case studies, Israelites in dispersion. Peter's sheep vision, a closer examination. The Ethiopian eunuch, an Israelite in dispersion. The widow of Sarepta, an Israelite in dispersion. The Lord's Prayer, an exclusive Israelite perspective. Extra scriptural doctrines exposed. The extra scriptural doctrine of Judeans and Gentiles. Can strangers become Israelites? In thee shall all nations be blessed. That unfortunate word, Gentile. Yahushai's ministry was not primarily to the Judeans or in Judea. Identity, history, and deception. Could the modern Judeans be Israel? Can the Judeans be identified? Josephus in his comments on the Judeans. Does Edom have any marks of identification today? Judeans who are non-Semitic. Historical commentary and records. What is their blasphemy? Anti-Semitism, a tool for deception, religious and political nonsense. Galatians, promise, and heirship. Galatians and Israel exclusivity. Interpreting Galatians in light of Israel exclusivity. Christos without Yesu, Messiah without Jesus. Can the promises to Abraham's seed be spiritualized? Who are the heirs according to the promise? In Christ versus in Jesus, neither Judean nor Greek. Who are the Greeks? Israel in the entire New Testament. Sonship, adoption, and faith. Isaac, hearing faith and freeborn sons. In thee shall all nations be blessed. Revisited. The promise in thy seed in the New Testament. The biblical concept of adoption. The placement of a son. Analysis of the 5 adoption verses. Understanding the sons of Yahweh and the doctrine of adoption. Pilgrims, strangers, and Israel, New Testament strangers. Seed, rebirth, and sowing.